Okay. I hope I have sound now. My microphone says yes, I do. So please come back. I'm here. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo. Want to help you get your mojo back, and here we are once again. Hey, Kate's back. Hi, Kate. Glad you can make it. All right, I'm going to take down that other video because there's nothing there. But I'm here. Hello. Transformational astrology. Got it now. We're banging on all cylinders. Okay, so what's that nagging issue? Well, what we're talking about today is when Mercury actually turns into retrograde motion, or any planet, but we're working on the Mercury in retrograde right now. What are the things that come up for you? Because the past is going to come barreling in. Well, because it's a Pisces retrograde, the past is going to come floating in sometimes and smack you in the head like a big wave. You ever been to a water park? Yeah, like that. And what happens? What do you do about that? What's the big deal? What do you do? And I'll tell you the dates, actually. So, well, first of all, let me start over. Okay, I'm having a really good hair day, and sometimes it's the little simple things in life that make it all worthwhile, right? So, whenever you get stuck, whenever you get stuck in a loop and you can't get out of it, and you're going round and round the same thing, and you're focused on the details that don't really matter, but you don't think at the time like that. You think that they do matter because you're engaged and you're committed. But if there's not flow, if there's stagnation, if you're hitting a brick wall over and over and over again, you need to back up. What's that nagging issue that keeps recurring? Well, when you have happy little moments like a good hair day or you slept well, it makes all the difference. So, astrology is merely a tool that tells you what time it is. And as Mercury retrograde begins on March 5th through the 28th, add 10 days either side for the pre and post phase, what you're going to experience is that clunk. Something just shifted gears. What was it? So I would say closer to around March 2nd to March 7th, there's going to be an issue that arises that suddenly it doesn't feel so good. Something from the past comes back. What's it going to be? Well, your recurring issues might be chronic, right? They might be, not this thing again, not this guy again, not this issue again. But yeah, it's going to come back. Life does until you deal with it. So I'm here to help you deal, right? So let's deal. What is the recurring issue? What is that nagging problem? Please let me know in the chat box. Let me know who's here. Come say hello to me. Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo and Transformational Astrology, in case I didn't say it up top with all the tech issues, which we will have a little bit more of maybe during the Mercury in retrograde phase. So, who's here? Come say hi. What's your birthday? What's your issue? What's the problem? What's going on? Hi, Star. Let's see. I will be back, just to let you know ahead of time. I will be back on Monday, and we're going to talk about two other aspects that are happening now in astrology. Saturn, heavy-hitting planet that represents your structure and your denial. Hi, Christine. Is conjunct Pluto. That is TNT for the psyche, both in Capricorn. What does that mean? Whether you're a Capricorn sun, rising, or moon, it means structure. It means something has to break down. You're purging something so that you can rebuild. And then the sun and Neptune are conjoined in Neptune. The sun and Neptune are conjoined in Pisces. And what does that mean? Well, the dream. What is your karma? So it's going to be a karmic reading coming up next week. But today we're focused on Mercury in retrograde. You can click on the blue Book Now button. It's a 40-minute reading with me for only $197. And, making changes requires investment in yourself, time, energy, and cash. And also, the commitment to changing the thing that is recurring. What keeps happening over and over and over again. And if you're willing to take the plunge in a Pisces retrograde, we can go very deep and very wide and see what's happening, right? So, as I said earlier, around March 2nd, some people will feel it earlier depending on where Pisces retrograde is in their charts. And folks, just remember, if you haven't heard me say it before, I'm going to say it every single time, that the planets don't make you do anything. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that in the heavens. And it is, I don't have my watch with me, but it is. Astrology is like a clock. It merely tells you what time it is. So, what time is it? It's time for you to get as present as possible so that you can overcome the issue that keeps bothering you. So what's recurring? I want to hear from you. Let me know. I had a client the other day who we had done an enormous amount of work months ago, and she loved it. And she's transformed, and her relationships are so much better. She's happier. She's more confident. And she suddenly had a realization that she was an authority in her field. This is a very extraordinary person who has degrees, who is already getting paid, and suddenly had the realization after the work that we did together that she's an authority. So sometimes when we look at where we feel, you know what, we fall asleep. That is the problem. And Neptune energy is very much like the dream. So we're going to talk about the dream too. Like, what is your dream? What's your ideal vision in life? And Neptune energy is not just, and let me see if I have Neptune in my little bag of tricks here. There's Venus, there's the moon, I have Saturn. Oh, there's Neptune. Okay, so I'm going to move Neptune up to the top if my technology will allow, because I got the spinning ball right now. I don't know why. Oh, and I froze. Oh, okay, I froze. I didn't mean to freeze. I didn't want to freeze. There's Neptune. Okay. So Neptune energy, it represents for you, and it's a global thing, and it's also a generational thing. Neptune takes like over 100 years to go around the charts. But when you have a Neptune transit in your chart, when there's something going on, it's not just the addiction, the illusion, the ideal vision. It is very karmic. There are two karmic, sometimes three, two planets that are karmic. That is Saturn and Neptune. Next week, we're talking about Saturn at length again, because it's going to be doing something in the heavens that tells me about your timing. And your timing is ready. But we'll talk about that next week for change, right? And transformation. But Neptune deals with unfinished business. So what is your unfinished business? And I don't mean, you pulled stuff aside for the garage sale, but you never got to it, and because it snowed and you didn't have the garage sale. I'm talking about soul spiritually. What have you come to this earth to do? Why are you here? And what are you doing? And have you fallen asleep? Or have you given up? And there's no judgment on any of this. But if you want to know, your purpose, aside from your essential purpose, is to become as present as possible so that you could be as kind and compassionate as possible so that we can elevate the vibration of this planet. That's the whole gig, okay? But now individually, why have you come? I know why I've come, and I have my checklist, and it's like, okay, did that, done. Now I did that. I came for 5 things, and I'm working on that 5th thing right now. And one of the things is by looking at where Neptune is in your chart. And Neptune is a planet, again, it's not just karma. It's not just your unfinished business. It's your Soul's vow. What vow did you make before you got here? I vowed to bring awareness to myself and others, and to make it a career. I vowed to put awareness into spiritual awareness, metaphysical awareness, health awareness into the people that I meet, or the people that are drawn to me, who are ready for me. And people will be drawn to you, who are ready for you. But what does that mean to you? What are you doing with your energy, your time, your basic essence, your investment of not just money, but your whole focus? What are you doing with it? And that's what the dream comes back to. Ideal vision is when you get lost and you say, oh, I'm working 9 to 5, or I work 3 jobs, or I do all this stuff because I have to pay bills, and I got the responsibility thing, and we got to, then there's laundry, and then there's, we all have this. But every once in a while, I want you to just stop and take a deep breath and have 20 minutes minimum to yourself, an hour, a half a day, an entire day, where you are disengaged from technology, unless you're using an iPod or any kind of musical source to meditate or do brain entrainment. But disengage, go off the grid and meditate and ponder your existence. Contemplate your navel. I'm going to mix up my happy cards. And when you do that, suddenly a couple of things happen. And this is what retrograde, moving into retrograde, moving out of retrograde represents. There's a disturbance in the field. Who said that? Luke Skywalker? Yoda? There's a disturbance in your auric field when you get present and suddenly you say, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been going through that recently. December 20th, Neptune in 9th house. Okay. So that's about awareness. Wherever Neptune is, it's about where are you in denial, and where is the ideal dream? What's the ideal vision? What do you want to do? So when you go off the grid and you take that time to contemplate, what am I here? What am I doing here? Why? What? When? How did I get here? This is the sometimes the slap in the face that Neptune brings, and it's also the comforting, warm, cozy blanket that says you can cuddle up now and go to sleep and dream. Now, there are waking dreams and there are sleeping dreams. But of the sleeping dreams, which I want to talk about in a minute, it's important that during your waking dreams, you take time every hour, 3 minutes, just to get centered. Inhale, exhale, breathe. What are you doing? If you're scattered and you go squirrel, which most people do in a Mercury in retrograde, unless you were born in a Mercury in retrograde, then things are a little bit clearer for you. Take those 3 minutes and contemplate. What is my next step? What am I doing now? And why? What is the purpose? And if you find yourself doing things that no longer resonate with who you are, then you've gotten lost a little bit in the fairy forest, where, everything seemed like it was okay until you suddenly felt out of sorts, or your body things felt incongruent. So where Neptune is when you're born is one thing. As it's transiting around your chart through the heavens is the second thing. And that second thing that I want to talk about is the kinds of dreams that you can have. And so when you take that time during your waking hours to breathe, to get present, to redirect yourself on what not just feels good. And I don't mean, be carefree, give it up, forget about work, call in sick. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you have a job to do, no matter what the job is, anything. You're making donuts for the PTA, or you have a big project to present to the, all the bosses in the corporation. It doesn't matter. You're helping, serving people. You're volunteering. You're doing your thing. If it resonates with who you are, then continue to do it. If it doesn't, it's time for readjustment. And that readjustment can bring up a whole bevy of, the woe, oh, I'm lost. The woe is me. And this is what happens in a Mercury in retrograde in Neptune, which is Pisces. And so March 5th, 2nd through the 7th, that 5-day spread is where you might actually feel it the most. So what I'm saying now, before you get to those dates, is to practice being a little bit more present. Start to indulge yourself in asking questions like, who am I? Why have I come? What am I doing? And where am I going? Because I think it was Yogi Berra who said, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? And, floating through life is a way, but there's another way. And then again, looking at these dreams that you have. So let's say when you were a kid and you said, so hands, show me in the comment box, what did you want to be when you were 7? When I was 7, 7, 6, 7, 8, but around 7 is when you make a mental jump in your brain. Morality sets in. You start to understand the difference between right and wrong and the opposites in life. And around the age of 7, you start to make a declaration because you've just come from spirit. You've only been on the earth 7 years and you say, oh, I'm here to blah. I'm here to be a dancer. I'm here to be a musician. Now, of course, if you say I'm here to be a pink pony, that's a little bit far left afield. Is that the phrase? And you can be a pink pony, maybe in a play. Maybe you create a business called Pink Pony. Whatever. Keep the dream alive. But when you're 7, think back. What did you want to be when you grew up? What did you want to be? I wanted to be a health teacher. I wanted to be an archaeologist. And I wanted to be a singer and a comedian. And so when I look, and an artist, oh yeah, we can't forget that, and and a writer. I started writing when I was 7. And I would write in a diary, today I had eggs for breakfast. I didn't know what I was supposed to write, but I knew I had to write. And I haven't stopped writing since. And I keep writing. And the archaeologist part, because I love history and I love digging up people's bones. And what's that skeleton in your closet? I'm here to help you find it so that you can clear the cobwebs and then you can move forward, set that structure to move forward. Because if you don't know where you've come from, it's harder to create the future because you don't want to repeat the same things over and over again. So if you understand your dreams, your waking dreams, like I have a vision of, I've got the Clear Your Money Karma VIP program that I do that I love. I also have historical fiction books that I'm writing and these Facebook Lives, and future podcasts will come from this so that I have a vision. Now it's just about getting organized with my vision so that I'm not overwhelmed. So I ask you, what's the thing? What's the recurring dream that you have that you want? Oh, I have this dream. I would love to. Okay, so if you're 80 years old and you want to be an Olympic gymnast, maybe that dream is best left for the next life. So some dreams, if you've waited too long, sometimes the door closes. And that can be sad, right? But then we can readjust and reframe it and see, well, what else can I do? How else can I apply what I know, my talents, my passions? And so when I look at sleeping dreams, there's a couple of kind of sleeping dreams. So Christine says, I used to daydream about making a Noah's Ark starship. I was a Star Trek fan. That's very cool. So when you distill that down into, hey, you know what? I really want to do something that's futuristic. Because I'm a Star Trek fan. All right. Is it Star Wars or Star Trek? I got to say I'm in the Star Trek camp. And have always seen, the future as something possible, as something more than, using technology, using different vibrations, I was Deanna Troi. I was Deanna Troi for Trekkie fans. And so when I identified with Star Trek, like Christine did, I thought, yeah, I want to do something that feels right. That, so Deanna Troy was an empath, and I was like, yeah, so am I. So I'm there. I'm with it. I'm following my dreams. So it doesn't mean it's outrageous. To a 7-year-old, you say, oh, I want to build a Noah's Ark Star Trek ship. Okay, that's not outrageous. What does that ship mean? Literally, break that dream down. This is the waking dream part. What does that mean? So you want a place where people can go to what? And fill in the blank, Mr. Spock. So you want a place to go where you can fulfill your dream and your destiny. Now remember, destiny is not written in stone. Destiny is what you create along the way. It's etched slowly with every thought, action, inaction, every judgment that gets altered into compassion or productivity. Okay. So when you think now, okay, I'm going to write in my journal, which I recommend everyone does before bed, and get out the mental chatter and really connect with your spiritual self, your soul, because without the body, the soul, can float around, but it's here, and it's a combination of your body, mind, spirit alignment. Okay. Your body has certain needs. It's biology. Your mind also, your mind maps out the plan. The spirit inspires, your mind maps out the plan, and the body acts it all out. So you have your holy earthly trinity. In astrology, it's your sun, rising, and moon. On earth, metaphysically speaking, it's your body, mind, spirit connection. And if you're giving more energy to one instead of the other two, your life will suffer. If you're giving it to just two instead of all three, you will have debt. All kinds of debt. Physical, relationship debt, financial debt. So when you look at the sleeping dreams, you write the paragraph before you go to bed about your day. Just, this happened, that happened, this happened, and how you felt. And then you're open to, you say, to your spirit guides, your angels, your higher self, whoever it is that you speak to. I call it pure conscious love because that's what we are. There's no gender. There's no agenda. It is pure conscious love without judgment. And I will say in my journal or in my meditation before bed, I'm open to suggestion. Please show me in a clear, calm, healthy way. What's next? Please show me. And then I have a dream. Now, getting back to the dreams, there are literal dreams. You dream about, having a stomach ache and you wake up because you have a stomach ache. So that's literal. Then there's prophetic. You dream about something that's about to happen. And you saw it coming because you're being given information. And people go, how does that work? It's because time only exists on this planet. We live now. Everything is now. The past is now. The future is now. Everything's now. I know that's trippy for some people. But just stick with the kinds of dreams that you're having. Is it literal? Is it prophetic? Or is it symbolic? You dream about an umbrella, but it has holes in it. Then you do a little journal and you say, I dreamed about an umbrella with holes in it. And just like you would break down to discern what is it that you just dreamed, like what does it mean? Well, first you have to ask yourself, not a dream dictionary. You have your own dream dictionary. And you ask yourself on paper, as if you were somebody from another planet, and you say, oh, what's an umbrella? And you give your definition. Well, an umbrella is something that protects you from the rain or the weather. And then what are holes? The alien says to you. And you say, well, that's, and so as you start to determine your definition, suddenly you'll see why you dreamed this thing. That's symbolism. So symbolism in a dream sometimes is harder to recognize because it's like, why would I dream that? The other night I had a dream that I had a frog that was a very specific color and it was almost translucent. And the frog leapt up onto my left calf and just solidified. It just stayed there. And it was no longer an actual creature. It was just stuck there. And I woke up, and this dream turned out to be, well, if the frog fell off and transformed, it would create this little creature that had fangs. And I was like, what? Okay. So first I looked at the color. It was such a specific color. The first thing that came to mind was that frog looks like the color of moldavite. Now, I used to work with moldavite, tektite stone that is abundant it's a meteor that fell into Germany, and there's so many tektite stones, but moldavite specifically, and what it's meant for. And then I looked at where the placement it was on my body and what that meant to me. And then I saw the healing that was occurring based on the color, the stone, and the symbolism of the frog, what it means to me, not a dream dictionary. I mean, you can look up other references online and such, but really, when you start really analyzing your dreams, it's going to help you to know what your dictionary is, what your unconscious self thinks and believes and perceives, because it's not always going to be the same as your head. It's not always going to be the same. And you know what I'm talking about, right? Give me a thumbs up. Say yay. Got to take a drink. Also, and the other type of dream that happens is a hallucination. And a hallucination comes when you have fevers or you're very ill. So those kind of dreams don't matter. They don't count because they're not real, especially if you're on medication and they're induced. They're crazy. They're cray-cray. They are cray-cray. Anyway, and you're more susceptible to negative influences when you're very ill and you're dreaming. So, there's a whole bunch of jumbled things so you just want to put those aside and focus on literal, prophetic, symbolic. And then there's astral types of dreams where I would call them more experiences or visions, where you're actually experiencing something and you come back into your body and you wake up and you say, I feel like I was just at Cindy's house, but Cindy lives in a different state and somebody was yelling at her. And then you talk to Cindy weeks later and you find out she had an argument with her boyfriend or something. And you go, oh, wow, that's like a point of view dream where you're actually projecting yourself into the world. So as Mercury moves into retrograde Pisces, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the symbols that you're given. And let me pull a card for everyone. Making sense? Does this make sense? Listen, click on the blue Book Now button. You get 40 minutes with me. There's only a couple of spaces left because I'm going to move on to a different type of reading coming up next week. And I want you to be able to get clear on what's the recurring thing that keeps happening that stops you from being who you are. That's only evident because your body is talking to you. Your mind is talking to you, right? Your patterns are talking to you. You keep attracting the same thing over and over again. Why? What does it mean? And also with dreaming, it's important that you analyze your dreams in a way that helps you to apply them to life. Because really there is no dream state. It's all a reality. It's different foci, but it's all one kind of reality. All right, let me pull a card for everyone to focus on. When Mercury goes retrograde, the 2nd through the 7th primarily, and then again the 25th through the 31st. Those time frames are when Mercury moves in and then out of retrograde. And when it does, there's more tech anomalies, there's more squirrel that goes on, what just happened, or there are metaphysical things that happen, and suddenly you can't deal with it. And you just say, I need a break. I need a retreat. I need to meditate. I need to go within. I need to breathe. I need to have a reading. I need a massage. I need to get clear on what my spiritual self is doing. Memphis Holly says, my dreams are stuck in the past and you hate it. Don't hate it. If you keep having the same dream over and over again, write them down. Your body and mind and spirit are speaking to you. Maybe you can help yourself resolve what this past issue is, or click the blue Book Now button, and I will certainly help you do that. Okay, let me pull a card for retrograde, moving in and out of retrograde, and what can occur. Oh, this one wants to pop out. Intention. Oh, really good card. Yay! What's your intention? So this is really great to have during a Mercury in retrograde in Pisces, because if you're just doing stuff just to do it because you're doing it, okay, then you're unconscious, then you're sleeping, then you're sleepwalking, then you become sheeple, and then suddenly things happen and taxes get raised and whatever just happened. And you're like, what just happened? Where did the store go? I loved that place. Or, well, did you sign the petition? Did you take action? Were you present? Were you part of life? Were you in the community? Were you sharing who you really are? Were you utilizing your talents? Maybe not. And it's okay to take a vacation from life. We all do it. We all need to at some point. But, and then we need to step back in. There was an old country song way long ago. Some guy would stand there and sing with a country hat and go, "Stop the world, I want to get off." I thought it was the wackiest song. Anyway, sometimes you just want to do that. You just want to step off and go, yeah, I'm stepping to the right. I'm checking out for a little while, a day, a week, a month, maybe. I don't know. But here's also the thing to be aware of. If your intention is to heal something, to transform something, to help something about your life become more structured, more profitable, more abundant, then you need to put the time and energy in. You need to commit to the change. And that's just what it is, right? But it doesn't mean you won't have help along the way. It doesn't mean it's going to hurt. It doesn't mean anything other than your life will change and transform for the better. Because when you start to create an intentional life, and this is what I'm going to be talking about next week for a couple of weeks, when you create an intentional life, you let go of being the victim, the martyr, the woe is me, the oh my gosh, it's never going to happen. We got to let that go. The not enoughs. That's what we let go of. Now, also when Mercury in retrograde turns into retrograde and out of retrograde, again, March 2nd through the 7th, the most crucial time, and then around the 24th, 23rd through the 30th, that week, tech anomalies, you go squirrel. Being it's a Pisces energy, you might have moments where you really feel sad, victimized, perpetrated upon, or lost. And so then what happens is you want to medicate. So you might eat more sugar, you might eat more carbs, you might go for some kind of medication, you might smoke some pot, you might do the edibles, you might do things, drink more alcohol. Okay, there is no judgment on any of this, but just become aware of when you anesthetize yourself in front of the television for hours at a time. And I don't mean like you worked hard all day and then you watch a movie, because I do that. I love that. And sometimes it inspires me. We've been watching Conan lately, and because he's traveling around the world. It's hysterical. It's on Netflix. We're just laughing. And it breaks up tension. It helps to relieve you. But I'm talking about when you don't want to feel your feelings, when you don't want to deal with what life is offering you, and then you just, turn on the TV and get lost for days at a time. When that starts to happen, or you go for, extra wine or, the extra stuff that stops you from feeling, or if you smoke cigarettes and you're smoking cigarettes, and I know because I used to smoke cigarettes, and cigarettes numb your feelings so that you can function. It numbs all the pain. That's what it does. It's a very addictive habit, worse than crack cocaine. Crack or cocaine is not as hard to quit as cigarettes and nicotine. So when you start to anesthetize yourself, and that's very rampant during Mercury retrograde in Pisces, that's okay. Just become aware of it and then say, oh, you know what? I don't feel so good. I need to do something. That's when counseling helps. That's when moving your body helps. Swimming in water if you can, taking extra showers or baths, meditating, walking, working out a little bit more, stretching your body, connecting body, mind, and spirit together is really going to help you. Okay, so I want you to think on these things. And I've only got a few spots left for the Mercury in retrograde reading. And that, again, is 40 minutes with me. And we're just going to get to it. And if you're willing and committed to making the change and transform, then we're going to have a ride. and you'll have stuff to do. And once you do it, and then repeat, rinse, lather, repeat, whatever I suggest, it will help tremendously. All right, folks. So I want you to be sparkly. I want you to stay present. I'll be back on Monday, and set your intention, right? Set your intention to be present, to be kind, to smile more. Ta-da! Okay. Forget your troubles. Come on, get happy. And it's okay if you're not happy. You don't have to get happy if you're not happy. Be where you are. Feel your feelings. And then slowly transition to the next moment. That's what it's about. All right. I'll see you next week. Be well.